Hey YouTubers, Muskrat Jim here, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make French Canadian pea soup. And for those of you who don't know, my heritage is French Canadian. So it's like a family recipe. Now, the thing about French Canadian cooking, a lot of it is just very simple ingredients, very few ingredients. And so what I'll do is I'll just show you what goes into it. Okay, first of all, there's a leftover ham bone from a previous meal. And soups are a great way to make use of leftovers. Also in the soup goes a bag of split green peas. They're dehydrated, so they take quite a while to cook, and when they do cook, they'll dissolve and make the soup quite thick. Now, I always like to throw an onion in my soups for extra flavor, and later on, once the peas start dissolving, I'll slice and add the carrots. The carrots are basically there just for color, but you know, they also add their own nutrients as well. Now, a couple other things that go into it are salt and pepper for sure, and you know, some parsley. I like to put parsley in pretty well everything. And let's see, what else? Oh, water. We have to add water to the pot. So let's get started. I put in about enough water just to cover the bone, and the bone has quite a bit of meat on it too, so we're going to boil that up, and once the meat separates from the bone, we'll chop up the meat and add it back in, and then we'll remove the bone towards the end. Now, while that comes to a boil, we'll slice up the onion and add that to the pot. Now, because it's going to cook for such a long time, the onion's going to totally dissolve, so it doesn't really matter whether you chop this up coarsely or finely. It's going to be all dissolved into the soup anyway. And then we'll add the split peas. Now, the instructions on the peas say that you're supposed to rinse and pick over the peas. I don't know what they expect you to find in there. Twigs, bugs, I really don't know. But anyway, I like to live dangerously. So now we'll cover that, bring it to a boil, and then we'll stir it just to make sure that it doesn't stick. Well, that's been cooking for about 45 minutes or so, and it smells great. But as you can see, the peas are starting to color the liquid, so it looks a little green, and a lot of the meat has fallen off that bone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the bone, cut off the rest of the meat, and I'm also going to remove the chunks of meat just so I can chop them up a little finer. Now that we've removed the meat from the bone, and removed any cartilage, we can add that back into the soup. Alright, so the peas are dissolving nicely now, and it's getting thicker. So I'm going to go ahead, chop up the rest of those carrots, and add them in. If the soup seems to be getting thick before the peas all dissolve, what you can do is just add a little more water. I think I'm going to do that. So this has got to cook for about another hour in order to soften up the carrots. You don't want it to boil hard when it's getting thick, because, you know, it'll stick to the bottom of the pot. It's starting to look really good now. Because this takes so long to cook, it isn't anything you'd want to try to do over a camp stove. You know, like you could do it over a fire because, you know, you've got, well, nearly unlimited fuel, but it requires like long, slow cooking. But it's certainly worth it at the end. So as I said before, making soup is one of my favorite ways of using leftovers. So until next time, this is Muskrat Jim, signing out. For more muskrat survival videos, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.